Watching someone you love suffer under the grip of a narcissist is like witnessing a slow-motion tragedy. From the outside, you can see the warning signs, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the isolation. You try to reach out, to offer help, to make them see what's happening. But instead of gratitude, you're often met with resistance, hostility, or heartbreaking denial. The person you care about is trapped, and despite your best efforts, it feels like you're losing them to an invisible force. At first, you may notice subtle changes. The victim withdraws, no longer confiding in you the way they used to. They seem anxious, constantly second-guessing themselves, making excuses for the narcissist's behavior. They start withdrawing from loved ones or making excuses to stay away, either out of fear of upsetting their partner or because they're emotionally exhausted from the turmoil at home. It's as if a fog has settled over their mind, making it impossible for them to see clearly. As a friend or family member, you feel the weight of helplessness. You try to explain what's happening, to shine a light on the toxic patterns, but the victim defends their abuser. They insist that things aren't that bad, that you're overreacting, or that you just don't understand. The narcissist has planted seeds of doubt so deeply in their mind that even well-meaning concern feels like an attack. You might even find yourself on the receiving end of their frustration, blamed for meddling or causing unnecessary drama. It's a cruel paradox. The more you try to help, the further they push you away. The narcissist ensures that anyone who questions their control is painted as the enemy. Friends and family become threats, outsiders who don't understand the love they share. In reality, the narcissist is waging a psychological war, turning the victim against the very people who could help them escape. One of the hardest things to accept is that the victim truly believes they are in the wrong. The narcissist has spent months, years, or even decades conditioning them to feel unworthy, unlovable, and incapable of standing on their own. Any attempt at reasoning with them is met with a wall of self-doubt and confusion. They can't see how deeply they've been manipulated because their reality has been rewritten by the abuser. A key tactic the narcissist employs to keep their victim ensnared is the cycle of love bombing. Just when the victim begins to question the relationship or think about leaving, the narcissist floods them with affection, gifts, and attention. They promise change, shower them with compliments, and give them exactly what they have been craving, be it emotional validation, financial security, or a sense of belonging. This calculated reinforcement keeps the victim dependent, clinging to the hope that the loving version of the narcissist is the real one, rather than the abuser lurking beneath the surface. This cycle of intermittent reinforcement creates an addictive bond, making it even harder for the victim to break free. The highs are intoxicating, and the lows are devastating, but the victim learns to endure the suffering for the fleeting moments of affection. They begin to believe that they need the narcissist to survive, that without them they will be lost, alone, and unworthy. The narcissist exploits this fear, tightening their grip and deepening the victim's reliance on them. For those on the outside, this journey is emotionally exhausting. You experience grief for the person they once were, frustration at their unwillingness to see the truth, and anger toward the narcissist who has orchestrated this destruction. It's a constant battle between wanting to shake them awake and knowing that pushing too hard might drive them deeper into the narcissist's grasp. Then there's the guilt. You wonder if you could have done more, if there was a better way to intervene, if somehow you missed the opportunity to pull them out. This self-blame is another consequence of the narcissist's destruction. Abuse doesn't just affect the victim, it seeps into the lives of everyone who loves them. The longer this dynamic continues, the more isolating it becomes for the people watching from the sidelines. Conversations feel strained, interactions are tense, and you begin to guard your words, afraid that anything you say could be twisted and used against you. You feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to maintain some sort of connection without setting off a chain reaction that could push them even further away. And then there's the heartbreak of witnessing the long-term damage. You see how the victim's confidence has been eroded, how their sense of self has withered away. You watch as their health deteriorates, their joy fades, and their dreams shrink into the background, all in service of keeping the narcissist happy. You want so badly to remind them of who they used to be, to pull them out of the darkness and show them that they are still worthy of love, of happiness, of freedom. But the truth is, you can't save someone who doesn't yet want to be saved. The victim must reach that breaking point on their own, where the pain of staying outweighs the fear of leaving. Until then, the best thing you can do is be a steady presence. Stay patient, stay compassionate, and above all, stay ready. Because one day, when the illusion crumbles and they finally see the truth, they'll need you more than ever. For the victim, regaining their sense of self-worth begins with recognizing the manipulation for what it is, a web of lies designed to keep them trapped. They must take small, deliberate steps toward reclaiming their independence, whether that means seeking therapy, reconnecting with old friends, or simply allowing themselves to question the reality the narcissist has forced upon them. Journaling, practicing self-care, and setting tiny boundaries can be powerful tools in rebuilding confidence. The path to freedom is not easy, but with time, support, and a willingness to rediscover their true identity, the victim can break free. They must come to understand that their worth is not defined by the narcissist's perception of them, but by their own inherent value. And when they do, they will begin to rebuild their life, not as someone else's pawn, but as their own person, finally free to live on their own terms. True freedom begins in the mind. The narcissist's greatest weapon was never their words or their actions. It was the power they held over perception. Once the victim sees through the illusion, that power crumbles. The manipulation loses its grip. The emotional chains begin to break. Regaining peace of mind is about more than just leaving. It's about reclaiming control. It starts with learning to trust their own thoughts again, understanding that their emotions are valid, and breaking the habit of seeking permission to exist. It's about surrounding themselves with people who uplift rather than drain, embracing self-care without guilt, and allowing themselves to dream again, without fear of judgment or sabotage. There will be moments of doubt, moments where the past still whispers, but with every step forward, the voice of the narcissist will fade into irrelevance. And one day, they will look back and realize they were never truly broken. They were simply buried under someone else's shadow. And now, finally, they stand in their own light. If this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone out there needs to hear it. Like, share, and subscribe to help spread awareness and empower those trapped in the cycle. Together we can break the silence. Stay strong, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.